Shalom YouTube, Sister Kate here in the cottage at night. It's been another rainy, cold day, and I've done a lot of things outside. One of the things I did was go into town, do a little shopping, do a little mailing, paying bills, and I picked up this. This is a latest edition. I don't know exactly which edition, if it's a special edition. Yeah, it says included specials. It is an Herbal Remedies, Healing Remedies, National Geographic. And I've just started leafing through it, and it really is good. So I'm going to recommend it to you. And you all know I'm not a saleswoman. I'm not a self-promoter. I don't try to talk myself up, and I also don't like to try to, get you all to buy anything, because I feel like that's just disingenuous. It's not my calling, and it's not my intent to try to, influence your buying powers. But I know we're all into alternative medicine. It just makes sense because modern medicine came from these same flowers and herbs. It's just been more refined and sometimes chemically copied and so on. So this one's really good. And I found out that some of the things I grow in my garden, which I've been giving away to Shofarians and visitors when they come, is lemon balm. I have peppermint. I have sage. I have oregano. I also have fennel, which I don't even know how it got here, and I'm not particularly fond of it, but I get that fennel is a thing. I also have chamomile that my daughter-in-law planted here, when she was here, 5 years ago? And I harvested it. I have videos up on that. Well, one of the things that I learned right off the bat in this magazine was the combination of fennel seed, chamomile, and lemon balm is safe and effective for even 3-week-old babies to use for colic. Amazing. I mean, I have a medicine chest out in my garden. And so I really, really want to urge you all that if you aren't growing herbs can grow in pots too. You don't have to have a big garden. But get some herbs, because you can eat them, but also you can use them for medicine. Now, what I like about this magazine also, it's written by a woman who started out being some kind of, I forget if she was a first aider or something. Then she moved into midwifery. Then she became like a nurse's assistant, and then she went on to get her medical degree. So she has seen, no, she was a botanist, that's the other thing, or an herbalist. She's seen both sides of this coin, because it seems almost like it's a versus, the herbalist versus the, the modern medicine. And the Set Apart Homestead did a really good video lately on, the GMO and the trying to live naturally. And I think it's really interesting that just came out, and his video and mine will intersect. Anyway, she has medical knowledge as well, and she's impressed, as well as I am, with things like our neuroscience and our emergency medical care and so on. But I agree with her, and I think this is where we can all sort of agree, that when you don't have some sort of emergency situation going on, some sort of life-threatening thing going on, and even if you do, sometimes, but more your minor injuries, or perhaps a thing like arthritis that you're going to have, and so how do you want to treat that? Is that the herbal remedies, the things like chamomile and fennel and oregano can treat symptoms of those other things and be effective. Things like colic and depression. I didn't know this, but chamomile is also a medicine to use for depression, and so is sage. So it puts the hands, it puts in your hands the ability to take care of your minor illnesses or your chronic. Chronic just means it's going to keep continuing on, and so you kind of have to deal with it like arthritis does. I don't think there's any way to actually heal arthritis. But chronic things, irritable bowel syndrome, just disorders that you probably don't want to just, you know, spend hundreds of dollars on and treating with the medicines that are out there, because you're treating something that you're taking care of your symptoms. Hey, what a blessing that you can do it through your garden, through your plants. And again, I want to reiterate, all the medicines that are in modern science now started with plants, with remedies. And some of these herbs have been around for thousands of years, have been used by the Romans and, you know, the Persians and the Arabs, and just, so there's lots and lots of history there that support the use of these remedies. Hang on a second. Shalom, I'm back. That's one of the things I wanted to say in this video. Another thing I wanted to say in this video is there have been some really excellent videos done by people who I know, whose channels I am subscribed to, and I personally know some of those people. Northwest Arkansas Prepper did a video recently on home security. He is not a tactical guy. He is, but he is in the 911 system for sure. And he has some very good tips on just the fact that if you're relying on 911 to protect you, it's not going to happen. You know, they're not going to be right next door. He says that himself. So you want to look to your own security. And there's plenty of videos out there on tactical things. So, you know, I'm not going to get into a big deal, but he did a good video on that. Like I said, Set Apart Homestead did a really fine video on GMO kind of things. Who else? Man, Pastor Joe did an interesting one on Sasquatches. Do you see one around right now? So yeah, in the prepping world, people are putting out good information, and it's okay for you to go make your notes and get ready for things and be prepped for things. It's not a weird thing to do. It's a smart thing to do. We've had some contact. I've had some people emailing me lately who are reaching out in different ways. And so I would love for you to pray that the Father guide us in the direction of those emails, what His will would be for those people. Oh, and I'm also really excited. So, you know, December 21st was the shortest day of the year. So every day now, until like mid-summer time, the days are going to be getting longer, which means more time outside. And as you know, I love doing those kind of things. The Father has really blessed the fact that Pastor and I have decided to do the Shemitah this year, the 7-year rest for our land. He's already providing. Our chickens are laying 6 eggs a day. Now, these are off-grid chickens. They're older girls. They're at least 2 or 3 years old, some of them. And we have no heat lamp on them. They have nothing but natural light. And for them to be laying in December, January, to me is really, really neat. Now, I haven't gone back through my other videos to find out if they were doing it last year, but I'm pretty sure I remember buying eggs more than once last winter, spring, and not being very happy about it. But as the Daily Duck, the man who runs the Daily Duck reminded me, when the birds are not laying over winter, it's a way for their system to kind of recover and to strengthen itself so they can begin their laying in spring, which is when they normally do. So I think the Father has blessed us there. And even though we're going to let the garden beds and stuff rest, Pastor and I are definitely looking forward to improving that soil, not tilling it, not planting in it, but maybe throwing some manure on it, some leaves, some mulch. Just really exciting. Another development I'm looking forward to in the upcoming year is getting back into the clay and pot making. I actually had fired a pot and it had not broken, so I was really excited about that. And I had not glazed it yet. And then I tried to use it, put some water in it and use it recently, and the water just soaked in and the whole thing dissolved. But I was not discouraged by that. I was actually spurred on to think, okay, I need to work on that. I need to fire some more of them and then maybe glaze them with a natural glaze, and also look into mixing them with other ingredients besides the clay. Because I did mix that clay with some sandy soil we have, But what about ashes? You know, what about leaves in there? What about these grasses? We've got grasses on the property that I think would make a really good straw. So I'm really excited for all those things. And I'd love to hear what you guys are excited about. And I plan on, not as good at planning carrying through as just in being inspired. Doing a 5-gallon bucket video on medical supplies that I might store in a 5-gallon bucket. And I don't know if, you know, I'm not an expert, I'm not a doctor, but I could recommend what I would find useful. And I'm also thinking I might go shop for that stuff at Dollar Tree. So, stay tuned, y'all. Bless you. Shalom.